Hi, I'm Dave Samuels and welcome to Mallet Keyboard Musicianship. This videotape program focuses on the extensive musical possibilities available from the Mallet keyboard instruments. While I'll focus mainly on vibraphone and marimba technique, the ensemble demonstrations later in the program will include the use of xylophone, orchestra bells, and chimes. The purpose of this first session is to present a practical approach to understanding and mastering multi-mallet playing. The basic reason behind holding four mallets is to have the capability of playing a single line, chords, or a combination of both. As mallet playing has progressed over the years, so has the demand for new techniques. It's not unusual to see a group today where the vibes or marimba is the sole chordal instrument. The only background information you'll need for this first tape is to have a basic understanding of scales and simple chord construction. The final items you'll need are 4 evenly matched mallets. It's not necessary that you already play a mallet instrument, since the beginning of this tape deals with the fundamentals of how to hold 4 mallets. A common misconception is that using 4 mallets is strictly for playing chords. Therefore, there's no reason to hold 4 mallets if you're playing a single line piece. This simply isn't true. Holding 4 mallets can make playing a single line easier and more musical when the notes are distributed amongst the 4 mallets. If you use a 4 mallet approach, you'll never have to deal with the question of whether a piece calls for 2 or 4 mallets. If you have the ability to play a single line, chords, or a combination of both with 4 mallets, you'll be prepared for any musical situation. Therefore, beginning players should start with 4 mallets to utilize the full capabilities of the instrument. You wouldn't start someone studying piano with just 2 fingers and then decide to start adding the other 8 fingers later on. 4 mallet technique has expanded the horizons of mallet players, opening a whole new mode of dynamic expression in a variety of musical settings. There are a number of different ways of holding 4 mallets. Each one has its advantages and disadvantages. There is no best technique. The approach that I'll present here has worked for me and many other fine keyboard players. The first section of this tape is very important since it deals with the basics of 4 mallet playing. Whatever your ultimate goals in playing may be, you must first understand the basics. Once you're able to hold the mallets properly and get a good clean sound on the instrument, you'll be able to go in any musical direction you wish. If you are new to this technique or even a beginning student, take your time. Speed is not a concern at this point. The object is to incorporate this new technique into your practice habits. With concentration and repetition, everything you learn will become automatic. Always keep in mind that repeated viewings of these instructional modules will accelerate and enhance the quality of your practice time. In order to simplify explaining how to hold 4 mallets, I'll start by showing you some close-ups of the mallet position. The basic mallet position is exactly the same in both hands. Notice the angle of the mallet in the palm between the index and middle fingers. The mallet should be placed along the natural fold in the palm. This line in the palm is also referred to as the lifeline. The middle and 4th fingers are the key to keeping this mallet in place. This mallet stays stationary at all times, including when you open and close the mallets. Here you can see that the 2nd mallet is placed on top of the 1st mallet. The 2nd mallet is furthest from the palm, and the 1st mallet is resting on the palm. The 2nd mallet is held in place by the curling of all the fingers. The thumb is sitting on the outside of the 2nd mallet, neither above or below the mallet, but along the side. The thumb should not press the mallet down into the bar. It just rests lightly against the side of the second mallet. In this position, the two mallets in each hand should be held so that the mallet heads are spread at about a 45-degree angle. Holding all four mallets, you can number each mallet starting with the outside mallet in the right hand as mallet number 1, and the inside mallet in the same hand as mallet number 2. The inside mallet in the left hand is number 3, and the outside mallet in the same hand is mallet number 4. An important point to notice is that the mallet heads are at different lengths. The inside mallets in both hands, number 2 and number 3, are about a mallet head's length longer than the outside mallets. This is done so as to facilitate playing chords. Don't feel as though you're doing something wrong if at first your hands are either tense or tired. This might be the first time you've placed your hands in this type of position. Don't worry, it's a natural reaction. With some concentration and repetition, picking up the mallets will eventually become automatic. Because everybody's hand size is a little different, you may find it impossible to place your fingers exactly as displayed. Try and adapt your hands as best you can, making sure that you follow the general position guidelines. Before you begin opening and closing the mallets, make sure that they feel comfortable in your hands. Remember to take your time. I'll start the explanation of this process with some close-up shots of how the fingers and mallets move while opening and closing. Here, both hands are holding the mallets in the basic position, a 45-degree angle. As the mallets are closed, notice the index finger is moving from between the mallets. Without this, it would be impossible to close the mallets. Also notice the thumb is pushing on the inside mallet in both hands to help close them. As the thumb pushes, the whole hand starts to naturally fold in. The third, fourth, and fifth fingers are curled around the crossed mallets. The fifth finger has moved from between the two mallets into this curled position. In this closed position, the index finger is sitting between the two mallets. Make sure that it's not on top or on either side of the mallets, but is sitting directly between them. The thumb is still pushed up against the inside mallet. The third, fourth, and fifth fingers are curled around the crossed mallets. This is the fully closed position. Notice that the mallet heads do not have to be touching. They only have to be close enough together to play a minor second interval. Check that the mallets are still crossed and that the inside mallet is still a mallet head's length longer than the outside mallet. In order to start opening the mallets, the process is reversed. To open the mallets back to the basic 45-degree position, start sliding the index finger between the mallets. As you do this, your hand will start to unfold as you bring the third, fourth, and fifth fingers back to the basic position as shown. The thumb is not used at all in opening the mallets. In this position, the finger is still sliding down between the mallets as the thumb starts to come up over the inside mallet. The fourth finger starts to move off the outside mallet, and the fifth finger starts to curl around the inside mallet. The middle finger is now the only support holding the outside mallet in place. With the mallets at a full 90-degree angle, the thumb is completely curled around the top of the inside mallet. The index finger is curled around the same mallet. The fourth finger is next to or on the outside mallet. This will depend on the length of your fingers, as the middle finger stabilizes the outside mallet. The fifth finger is totally curled around the inside mallet and is used to pull the inside mallet to its full 90-degree angle. This is very important since the motion of the index finger alone is not enough to push the mallets apart to a full open position. Now that you feel comfortable opening and closing the mallets, it's important that you get a good stance behind the instrument. When playing any mallet keyboard, it's best to stand in the center of the instrument. On a vibraphone, that's between E above middle C and an octave above middle C. If your vibraphone has a pedal rather than a bar, it's best to place your right foot on the right edge of the pedal. If you have a bar, place your right foot a little to the right of center. Your left foot should be about 1.5 feet from your right foot and slightly behind. When playing the extremities of the instrument, it's necessary to shift your weight from one foot to the other in order to keep your balance and to get a powerful stroke. It's not necessary to have your body always directly behind your hands. By shifting your weight, you can get a powerful stroke without changing the basic body position behind the instrument. When playing any other mallet keyboard instrument, you should stand in the same position as with the vibraphone, except that your feet will be placed evenly next to each other. Depending on the size of the instrument, you will still have to shift your weight as you move from one end to the other, and when playing a very large instrument, such as a full-size marimba, there will even be more lateral movement as you play the extremities of the instrument. In order to get a good clean sound, you have to know where and how to strike the bar. The optimum place to strike the bar on any mallet instrument is in the center of the bar. A secondary spot would be on the end of the accidental bar. However, don't strike the bar at the nodal point. This is where the chord runs through the bar and the least amount of sound is produced there. The stroke for each mallet is an arc-like motion where the wrist turns but is never broken. It is not an up and down stroke. Instead, the wrist swivels. The mallet that is not striking the bar should turn along with the wrist without a lot of up and down motion. This can be achieved by making sure that your hand position is angled down towards the keyboard so that your wrist is straight and not broken. This is the correct motion of the inside and outside mallets striking the bar. Notice the arc-like motion of the mallets and that the wrist is turning but is never broken. Also notice that the mallets are in the basic position of a 45-degree angle when striking the bar. One way of practicing this motion is to place a book under the mallet that is not striking the bar. As you strike the bar, make sure that the mallet above the book just swivels but does not hit the book. If you're having trouble with this, check to see that your wrist is straight and that your forearm is angled down towards the keyboard. If your arm is too low to the instrument, the mallet above the book will move around uncontrollably and hit the book every time. With my left hand, I'll play the following short etudes slowly. The next etude will be played with the right hand. Again, watch the motion of the mallets, my body position, and where I'm striking the bar. The next piece that I'll play will combine both hands. The mallets will be at a 45-degree angle, so opening and closing them will not be a problem. The pedal will also not be used in this piece. Watch my hands to see the mallet position, where I'm striking the bars, and where I'm standing behind the instrument. Now take some of the ideas that you've heard in these first few etudes and try to write your own variations. Part of being a creative player is developing the ability to translate your ideas, thoughts, and feelings into music. One way of aiding this development is by writing your own pieces. Playing other people's music is important, but writing your own pieces will develop a whole different side of you. Writing is a way to help you start defining your likes and dislikes, your strengths and weaknesses, and learning how to tap into your own personal creative voice. You should write etudes that deal with a specific technical problem, but think of the etude as a complete musical thought rather than just a couple of measures that are repeated over and over again. You should keep a notebook with your pieces in it. You may find that you won't be able to finish every piece in just one sitting, but if you come up with a good starting phrase and can't finish it, write it down in your book and keep it for future reference. It may take a while before you finish it, but don't let that stop you from starting something else. Writing will also help you to better organize your thoughts and make better musical choices. So far, the pieces that I played have been designed to strengthen the stroke of each mallet. Now we're going to examine a stepwise motion between the two hands by utilizing the C major scale. You could play the whole scale with any of the four mallets, but that wouldn't necessarily be the most practical approach. Which mallets would you choose if you wanted to alternate notes between both hands? Observe the next example. When playing a C major scale, the best choice of which mallets to use would be mallets number 1 and number 3. The mallet position in the left hand would stay the same, but the position in the right hand would change. Notice that the mallets in the right hand are at a 90-degree angle, and that the stroke of the outside mallet is an up and down motion, while the inside mallet rotates on its axis. In this position, the wrist is broken as you strike the bar. Also notice the position of the mallets and the angle of the hands. The right hand is angled so that mallet number 2 does not hit either mallet number 3 of the left hand or your body. Mallets number 1 and number 3 are angled towards each other so that it's possible to play consecutive notes, such as the C major scale. Now I'll play some scales using mallets number 1 and number 3, with the mallets in the right hand at a 90-degree angle and the mallets in the left hand at a 45-degree angle. Now you try and play some scales using mallets number 1 and number 3. Remember to take your time and concentrate on how you're striking the instrument. To help you start strengthening your wrists, I would suggest that you start practicing some basic rudiments, like the single stroke roll, the double stroke roll, and the paradiddle. You can even play some of the traditional rudimental literature using just one note. This is a great way to build up your wrists. The art of sticking is a technique that deserves careful study. There seems to be a lot of confusion regarding how to choose the best sticking. Most mallet players have been ingrained with the idea of always using alternating stickings, that is, right, left, right, left. A well-rounded keyboard player, however, should have the capability of choosing from a number of different sticking possibilities depending on the particular musical situation. Scales are a good starting point for developing a number of different sticking alternatives. Most of the motion in the arms in playing scales happens when you move from the naturals to the accidentals or vice versa. An E-flat major scale is a good example. As I play this scale with alternating sticking, you'll notice a lot of arm and mallet motion as I move between the naturals and flats. Now if I play the same scale but double the F and G and C and D with the right hand and the A-flat and B-flat with the left hand, I've eliminated all the back and forth arm motion. All you see is my arms and mallets moving laterally up and down the instrument. Notice that I can also play in the center of the bars with this sticking. I can also play an E major scale, first with the traditional sticking and then playing doubles with my right hand between the F sharp and G sharp and the C sharp and D sharp, and a double with my left hand between A and B. An A major scale would just have one double sticking between the D and E. In all of the examples so far, the stickings are exactly the same as I play up and down the instrument. Watch again. Another way of practicing these scales would be to start them from the lowest root note of each scale on the instrument. I'll then play them up to the highest diatonic note on the instrument and then back down, using these double stickings. The A-flat major scale would start on the A-flat below middle C and would continue up to the high F and then back down. An E-flat major scale would start on E-flat above middle C and would continue up to F and then back down. Other scales have different kinds of double stickings. Examples of these are D major, D flat major, B major, B flat major, G flat major, double stickings are effective only if they're played with each stroke sounding even. The double stroke in each hand is just like an open roll drum rudiment, except that there is no bouncing of the stick off the bar. Each stroke is a separate wrist motion. I can practice playing this open roll on any note. I'll begin very slowly, then increase the tempo and vary the dynamics, always making sure that each stroke sounds even.